हेलो, नमस्ते, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल दोस्तों। स्वागत है आपका टू अनदर एपिसोड ऑफ वाव यानी वर्ड्स ऑफ विजडम में। आई एम योर होस्ट एंड दोस्त, दी वन एंड ओनली, योर्स ट्रूली, गुंजन अग्रवाल। दिस सीरीज इज बीइंग ब्रॉट टू यू बाय आप सभी विनर्स का अपना द विनर्स सर्कल। The Winners Circle is a community of CA students from various parts of India that strive toward bringing a real impact. From peers to professionals, they bring to you real stories, real voices, and real change. In this series, we invite distinguished CAs from various fields and verticals to share their journey and wisdom with us. और आज के हमारे स्पेशल गेस्ट हैं Any guesses? CA Rishikesh Joshi Sir. Welcome to you, sir. Rishikesh Sir's professional journey has been nothing short of inspiring. जब ज्ञान की बातें हवा में घुल जाती हैं, तो महफिल और भी रोशन हो जाती है. Sir is a third generation chartered accountant in his family and is a partner at Khandelwal Jain and Company. Specializing in auditing and assurance, he started as a manager and has been associated with the firm for 13 years. सर 13 सालों में तो सत्ता भी बदल जाती है, पर आप कांस्टेंट हैं. In this time, Sir has handled complex audits, understood businesses from inside and out, and developed an expertise that commands deep respect in the CA community. He has mentored hundreds of CAs and students like us in becoming better professionals. Apart from CA, Sir has completed his MCom and has been certified by various audit courses like DISA, FAFD, and IFR by ACCA. His contributions don't stop at practice alone. He has an active role in shaping and uplifting the CA profession. Sir is a member of the Auditing and Accounting Committee of the Chamber of Tax Consultants. Also, he is a member of the Human Resource Development Committee of the Bombay Chartered Accountant Society. It was actually at one of the events of the Bombay Chartered Accountant Society that TWC met with Sir. Also, the viewers might be interested to know that Sir is a great dancer and choreographer as well. During this session, the floor would be open to all participants to ask questions from the guest in the chat box. So I encourage you all to make the most of this opportunity. Sir, we are all honored to have you here with us. Now, without taking much time, I hand over the mic to our session hosts, Sanskriti and Dev, to take this session further. Over to you, Sanskriti.
Thank you, Gunjan, for this wonderful introduction. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this amazing session. So, sir, I would like to start this particular session by knowing how your journey started, because each and every successful story, it is very important to know that how it started. So, my first question to you would be that what pulled you, or what was your reason that pulled you into the field of chartered accountancy? Also, does this CA profession mean only the two letters CA to you, or is it something more than that? And if it is something more than that, then what it is?
So good evening, and thank you so much for having me here. It's indeed a pleasure to be sitting on this side of podcast. As usually I'm on the listening or the viewing side of podcast. This is the first time that I am actually speaking for a podcast, and doing it with CA students makes it extra special for me. And I'm very thankful to the Winners Circle to have such a wonderful initiative for the development of student community. I think something like the Winners Circle was necessary for all the CA students. Coming back to your questions, as it has already been told in my introduction, I am a third generation chartered accountant, and also I hail from the city of oranges, that is Nagpur. So I completed my education and everything in Nagpur, and it was only post qualification that I moved to Mumbai. Since I'm a third generation CA, I saw my grandfather was a CA. I see my father, my uncle, they are CAs. So choosing chartered accountancy was not a very difficult career option for me. I mean, it came very naturally since I was always around CAs. But what is interesting that I can share with the students is, although even my father knew that I'm going to take up CA eventually, he insisted that I should take up science faculty for my 11th and 12th. So, in my 11th, and his reason was very clear. He said that, you will develop a logical sense of thinking, which is very essential for CAs. And another thing is in 11th, 12th, since I was a CBSE science student, he said you will be more sincere as compared to other students around you. Because you are always surrounded with people who are pursuing, say, IIT or JEE, or they want to go in some NITs. So, you'll be more sincere with your studies. So that was his focal idea. And in hindsight, today I feel I'm glad I heard him and I took up CA. I enrolled for my entrance exams in 2004 and qualified in 2010. The journey was as meandering as it was supposed to be in terms of success and failures in my examination. But at the end of it, I can say that I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I'm a CA today. Coming to the second part of your question, that what does chartered accountancy mean to me? So I come from audit background, and I don't want to sound very theoretical or very bookish, but I feel that chartered accountant today stands for, and for me, it stands for trust and responsibility. Trust is something you build over time, and as a CA also, we have to express ourselves as professionals in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience, in terms of hard work, in terms of integrity, and that is how we build trust. So whenever a client puts in trust on us or relies on our work, client or public at large for that matter, it is a big responsibility. And as auditors, when we sign off financial statements, we are actually standing behind the truth and the fairness of what those financial statements truly represent. They represent transactions, compliances, governance, processes, and so on and so forth. So I think it is synonymous to, like I said, trust and responsibility.
Great, sir. Sir, I just want to ask you, despite your background as science student, you transitioned into a CA student. So, did you face any difficulties around that? And second part of the question is, was auditing a conscious choice, or was there something that propelled you to choose auditing and gain experience over the year?
So I understand there are two parts to your question. First, did science make any impact on my studies as I entered chartered accountancy? So to answer that, well, actually, it helped me because in CA entrance exams, in those days, it used to be PE1, Professional Education 1, or Professional Examination 1 is what it used to be called. So in PE1, we had a subject of maths and stats, which was a proper 100-mark subject. And thanks to my science background in 11th, 12th, I was already through with very complex problems of differentiation, integration, all those calculus problems we had already done. So actually, CA entrance was very easy for me. So transitioning wasn't very difficult. And of course, understanding the golden rules and applying them of course, I needed fair amount of practice, but it was very easy. Coming to the second part of your question, was auditing my conscious choice? Well, I would be totally lying if I say that auditing was my first choice. In fact, like out of the 8 subjects that we had in CA final, now of course it has come down to 6 subjects, but out of those 8 subjects, I was really very bad with my taxes. I was very averse to both the taxes, both direct and indirect taxes. And so I was very clear the moment I qualified, I am not going to make a career in taxation. But then when I went on and gave interviews, and I was very interested in finance actually. So when I gave all these interviews, everyone, always suggested that, you should take MBA finance, or maybe you should do something like an FRM or a CFA, courses like these that will help you, make up a career in finance. So I said, boss, I've just studied for 6 grueling years and I'm not in no mood to study more anymore. I cannot study anymore. Let me see what opportunities come to me. And in that, this opportunity of audit manager came up at Khandelwal Jain and Company. And I thought this is a good way to start because in my articleship also, I hadn't done much of audits. So it was like a learning opportunity for me. So then I chose auditing as my domain. And then rest is, I think thanks to that, I'm here today.
Amazing response, sir. Loved it. Sir, you mentioned that you started as an audit manager and then you escalated yourself to a partner. So a lot of skills would have been used by you, like the professionalism, the communication skills, which books can definitely teach us. So continuing to that, my next question would be that how is audit practically different than we study it in the ICI modules?
That's a very interesting question, and I'm glad you brought it up. To give you a very theoretical answer, what you study is knowledge, and what you are doing is applied knowledge. And to give you an analogy now, like there is a surgeon, for example, a surgeon who is when he was a student, he would study surgery through his books. But when he actually comes to perform, if he refers everything that is given in the books, shayad patient mar jaye. It could happen. So the point I'm trying to make here is that what happens in book is something very knowledge based, but what you do in real life is lot more than that. Coming to audit, I can give you certain examples to explain my point. Now, like there is an essay 550 which talks about related parties. That how do you identify, how do you assess, and how do you verify related parties, basically. But along with that, now you have to understand that there is an accounting standard or an IND AS, an accounting standard AS 18 or IND AS 24 that talks about disclosure of related party transactions. And along with that, if you see Companies Act, there is a section 188 that regulates basically all the related party transactions. So now, when you are actually performing an audit on related parties, you have to consider all these aspects, all these factors, so that you can ensure there is transparency in proper disclosure of those transactions. So to say, there is an interplay of various aspects which you need to factor in when you are performing an audit.
So let's dig down into your personal life as well. Walking down the memory lane, do you remember any of the learnings from your professional journey as a CA student? And which learning do you still think it's relevant in today's scenario?
Wow, my CS student journey seems to be really long time back, but I can definitely tell you there are two things that really pop up, and that is something I tell even my articles till date. Whoever come to me, I tell them these things. Two things that have helped me. One is I have this habit of writing down things. So as a student, I remember if I had any kind of queries, I would write it down. If I had any kind of points for discussion, I would write it down. If I had to I had to inform something to my partner or to my client or anybody in the team member, I would always write things down. Whatever were my learnings, I would write down. And believe me, even today as a partner, I still do the same thing. I scribble down absolutely everything that I need to do, I need to know, right from critical accounting or auditing issues to work that I need to delegate, something I need to inform to the client, or whatever is the status of my work. I still, and I'm very old school about it. Like I maintain a proper diary. I'll write down the date and what are the things that I need to do. When something is done, I tick it off. So, I mean, I know there are lots of apps, there are lots of softwares I can use, but I don't know. There is some sort of joy in and some sort of fulfillment in actually writing things down and just ticking it off. So that is something I still follow, and I tell my managers, my articles also, I tell the same thing, that please write down, don't rely entirely on your memory, because as a professional, what has happened is it has helped me also to multitask. Like I have multiple clients at a time that I'm handling, but since I have everything written down and recorded, I know I know what is the status of which client, and then if I have to make a switch, the switch becomes really easy. That is an advantage of writing things down. Another skill I would say that I have learned as an article is people management. So I have made my closest friends in my articleship period, and we are still in touch, whether we are CAs or not. But we are still, we used to work, we used to really enjoy our work, and we used to communicate a lot. Even with clients, even with partners, I remember I used to interact a lot, and that is something that has helped me even today in my practice. And also, I did my articleship in my own father's firm. So I had to be very mindful of how I am behaving. I had to be very conscious because there is a tone, there is a culture that I'm setting as partner's son, and and also it would be reflecting my upbringing. So I had to be very conscious and behave accordingly. And I feel even today, as a partner, when I'm working, with a prestigious client, or if I'm dealing with any of the regulators, I always keep that thing in mind. And that is something which has helped me, which I learned at my articleship moment, and I still try to follow it.
Sir, you mentioned that you did your articleship in your father's firm, but if I'm not wrong, when it came to your career, you selected a firm which is different than the one that is your well-said family practice. So definitely there must be reasons for that also. So what are your reasons in that context which motivated you to do something outside in the market? Also, sir, you started as an audit manager and then later on escalated as a partner. You mentioned some of the skills like professionalism, like communication, like people building. So, what other skills did you implement while you were in that journey or in that phase of development?
Right. So I think I'll keep my response very student oriented, as in what my learnings have been, so that students get maximum benefit. Of course, काम तो चलते रहता है, काम तो होते रहता है, but what are the learnings which is very important, which I would like to share with the student fraternity. To answer the first part of your question, that despite having our own family practice, why did I choose to work somewhere else? I'll tell you, if my life had a set of FAQs, this is the most frequently asked question in my life. And of course, very evident and very obviously why. So back then, I qualified in 2010. And when I qualified, like I said, our firm is Nagpur based firm. And I can say this largely in any tier 2 city. If you see, the area of practice is always taxation. So even in our firms, we used to have a lot of return filing and assessments and appeals and all those things. And as I mentioned before, I was not very keen on taking up taxation as my career. So which is why I thought that, let me venture out and let me try something out outside. Let me see if I can learn. And audit, what happened is audit, I got good opportunities at in Bombay, because I've seen that most of the corporate offices of big clients, big companies, or head offices, or even regulators, if you'll see, they're all based in Bombay or in any of the metro cities. So the level, the scale at which you're working is very different as compared to what you would work back home, in a smaller or in a smaller scale of firm. So which is why then I decided that, okay, let me see, how what kind of experience I get, what kind of work I get, and gradually, eventually, I kept on learning, kept on growing. To share a little bit about my journey I feel has been very, very, very organic. Like, I joined in 2012 in the firm. And as I said, I was done with giving exams, and most of the CA students, or in fact CAs, will relate to this, that the day you qualify, more than happy, you are relieved that अब मुझे ये सब किताबें वापस नहीं पढ़नी है. I'm sure most of you all relate to it. So, but then, like, when I got into audit, I started enjoying it. It made me more and more inquisitive. Like, I remember in 2012 itself, I enrolled for DISA, which is Diploma in Information System Audit. Then eventually I worked. I mean, I didn't take up any of the ISA audits, but then I was very keen that I want to learn and continue working. So I went to my partner. I said, "कि हो गया 2-3 साल हो गए 2015 में. What is it that I can learn now?" So he said, "IFRS is an upcoming thing, International Financial Reporting Standards. So why don't you learn that? It is something which is, and Index hadn't come by then." So that is how I enrolled into. I found out about this course which ACCA London offers, which is DIP IFR. So I enrolled for that course. I studied. I had to attend a session of almost 72 hours in KPMG, and post that I had to give my exams, which I appeared, and of course I thankfully I cleared. So learning was always there. Then eventually, next 2-3 years, I realized forensic audit is something which is upcoming. So coincidentally, IC had also come up with FAFD, which is forensic accounting and fraud detection. So I cleared that as well. Then eventually, now that I was a partner, I got elevated in 2022. And after that, also, I think in 2024, recently, I did this business responsibility and sustainability reporting, BRSR certification. So the point I'm trying to make is that learning was throughout over there. I mean, I'm not flaunting my degrees here, but then the learning part was always there. And because I was into audit, the relevant learnings were there. And someone would argue that you could have done that in your own firm as well, which is right. But then here the drive was little stronger, because I had put myself in a challenging position that I'm leaving behind something to achieve something bigger. So I think which is what really helped me to kind of sustain and stay in this on this journey so far.
Continuing on that note, sir, we can already see that you have built a strong professional career as a chartered accountant. And you also continue to nurture your passion for dance, right? And you're also an active member at Bombay Chartered Accountant Society. So how do you manage all these things, like your personal life, your professional life? So how do you balance all these things?
So I have been a student with Shamak Davar's Academy for more than a decade now. And over there, what we do is essentially I learn up routines and then I perform on stage. So ever since I qualified, I remember even before I qualified in 2003, I had attended my first workshop of Shamak, and that time he had visited Nagpur. So post that workshop, I realized I got immense joy, and that kind of joy I had never felt before. So I was like, okay, dancing really elevates me. It really gives me a lot of happiness and joy. Cut to 2004 to 2010, I was busy with my studies, articleship, classes, exams, all of those things. So I couldn't pursue dancing so much. But post clearing, I made myself a promise that while 80% of my efforts and time go for my studies and profession, I will very consciously give attention to those the balance 20% as well. And dance was one of them. And hence, when I moved to Bombay, I made it a point that I enroll myself in the academy, and then I keep doing all those courses again and again. And I'll tell you, as much as I say this for recreation or for giving me happiness, it has also shaped me as a professional that I am today. You know, those classes, the instructors over there, they are very disciplined in terms of their timings. They're very structured in terms of how they will teach. So that has kind of percolated in my professional life also. You know, so that is an advantage of having a passion, having something that drives you over and above your own work. And sorry, what was the second part of your question? That
How do you manage? How do you balance out all?
sorry, regarding BCS, you had asked regarding BCS. So now, Bombay Chartered Accounting Society, I don't know if many students know, but BCS is basically a voluntary organization of all chartered accountants where they work on technical and non-technical aspects of chartered accountants and even CA students. So they keep on, they keep on having a lot of programs which are for the social, environmental, and other finer aspects of the profession. So like there is a blood donation drive, there is a tea plantation drive, then there are negotiation workshops, communication workshops. These kind of polish the softer aspects, the soft skills of professionals. They also have one of the students' events where I often get called. They will call me that, sir, can you please come and help us with choreographing the flash mob, or they will call me to judge the talent show. So in a way, I have this. There is a very famous Spanish painter, Pablo Picasso. What he says is the meaning of life is finding your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. So in a way, I get to learn at my sessions, and when I'm coming to or bodies like BCS, where I get to apply what I've learned, I kind of feel very very fulfilled. So that is how, and when you have that kind of sense of fulfillment in you, you automatically prioritize what is it that you want to focus on, whether is it your work or whether is it your passion or whatever.
So you right now spoke about that famous lines from Pablo Picasso. Uh, so this brings us to a spiritual angle. We spoke about professionalism. We spoke about the mental well-being. Now we are going towards something which is spiritual based. So, sir, you were also an active volunteer at the Art of Living organization before you joined the BCAS. So that also influenced your mental space a lot, and you that also made you grow spiritually, definitely. So, sir, could you share any learnings which helped you in this profession through that volunteering experience?
Yes, most definitely. In fact, so let me start with a disclaimer that I am not here to promote any body, any organization over here. I think I'm too small to promote something as big as that. And also, there are a lot of spiritual leaders, there are a lot of organizations that people know of and they want to join. So I think everybody, it's important that you identify which organization do you resonate with, and accordingly you join them. So Art of Living kind of resonated with me. I will also tell you one thing: the benefit of being a part of any organization. There are two benefits. Firstly, in these organizations, there are very well trained and very experienced teachers. So they kind of handhold you and bring you on the path of spirituality. And the second advantage is there are a lot of, since it's an organization, there are lots of co-participants. So when you are around those people, it is easier to stay on that path. So that is a benefit that any spiritual organization will give you. So that's why I always tell people that please find what are the organizations around you which you can associate with and continue to be on the path. Eventually, everything will take you to same goal. It's just they are different mediums. How has it helped me as a professional or as a student? I can share with you two learnings which I got to know, and I would like my students also to know. The first one being, like, even as a student, I remember when I used to go to classes, there would be some guy who would be very good with his accounts, with his practical subjects, and then there would be another girl I know who would be very good with her theory. Her audits and laws were always on point. She could write and express really well. And there was another guy who would be very good with his or her costing and other subjects. So I always used to get this very conscious that, oh my god, they are so good at it. I'm not good enough. What will I do? How will I clear my exam? How will I become a CA? And to that, one day my teacher just she just explained this analogy that she gave, that when you go in a garden where you see a lot of flowers, none of the flowers are competing with each other. Like a rose is not blossoming thinking, oh, sunflower is so big, so I also need to be so big, or lotus is bloomed so well, so I also need to bloom so well. So the point is, everybody blossoms to the best of their capacity, to the best of their potential. And when we put focus on our own potential, that is when we truly blossom. And that really, it struck me. It was like, wow, even as professionals, I don't need to compare myself with somebody else. Somebody would be really good at something and vice versa, but I just need to focus on what I am, my best at. So that is one lesson that I learned. Another lesson that I learned is, again, seeing failures. Like a lot of students, CA students, even when I was a CA student, I saw a lot of failures. So I asked this question to my teacher that, oh, how do I respond to failures? What do I do when I fail in exams or fail in anything in general? Like even in professional life, we have seen a lot of setbacks. So how do I respond to it? And I was actually thinking that she would come up with something like, success and failures are two sides of the same coin. It's okay to succeed if sometimes you will pass, sometimes you'll fail, and all those typical gyan I thought I'll get. But she said a very relevant point. She said that when you fail, you need to work on only one skill, and that is willingness to work harder. So if you fail, instead of sitting and crying, instead of thinking over it, look at what is it that you're going to do about it. Look at it, that where is it that you fell short of your efforts, and where is it that you need to put in more efforts. And that kind of really struck me, and I realized that yes, spirituality is not leaving everything, it is to live with everything. With whatever deeds you're doing, just live with it. Try to implement whatever lessons you're learning spiritually, and try to implement them in your real life also, in your professional life also.
Interesting, sir. So, as you mentioned, we should be part of something, a community where we can learn with other people as well. So, on that note, we have also started a platform that is called the Winner Circle with a vision of holistic development. So, and we are also in the process of compiling an anthology called CE Education. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, so to start with, I'd like to say Winner Circle, I think, is an excellent initiative. You guys are actually giving students a platform where they can share about their challenges, their problems, where they can get a sense of student community. And through podcasts and programs like these, they can also get mentored. So I think TWC is an excellent initiative in itself. You're also giving them a listening ear so that they can share their experiences. You're giving them a sense of direction, a sense of solutions to their problems. You are also, through these podcasts, as I said, you're giving them a vision that what is it that their studies can shape them up into. So overall, I think Winner Circle is a very, very, very good and a very valuable initiative. Kudos to you all for that. Coming to education, I think education is, again, it is a very creative outlet. It will give a very creative outlet to students to express their experiences, whether bitter, whether sweet, whether sour. I think, and I would really encourage and implore everybody who can contribute for this cause, they should do it.
Firstly, sir, thank you so much for your support towards the winners. Sir, moving forward with that, I want to ask you a question that if you were a student at this stage and you wanted to contribute to our project, then on what topic would your write-up be?
Thank you for asking that question. I was really hoping that you would ask a question like that because, the moment your team reached out to me and asked me about and told me the concept of winner circle and about this education, it actually, I actually went back to my own notes, my own books, and I'll tell you, I have this diary of mine, this book of mine in which I used to practice costing. So it has still, as I said, I'm very particular about dates. So I've written, September 2010. So in September, I remember I used to solve my costing problems in this particular book, and I have written down a particular poem. One day I was very, 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 very frustrated, as any CA student can be, and I wrote down this poem, and I was like, and I was like, I wish I get this platform to even recite it. That would really mean a lot to me. So I think I'll take the liberties of just reading my poem out, and then we'll discuss about it. So it goes like, tired of waiting for the right moment to use what has piled unheeded, with the hope of being realized, only a ray of assurance is needed. An assurance to conquer the quest of the unknown at its best. To solve the riddle, to seek the reply, go beyond the limits, no matter low or high. For the love of the loved ones, I can bear it all. The path I chose for me might turn out to be a fall. A fall in the ocean, an ocean of happiness, happiness to live life, a life of success. So this is something, and like if you notice this particular poem, it has a lot of ups and downs, a lot of like in a way, as they have crest and trough, a lot of sometimes you're talking about fall, sometimes similarly you're talking about happiness, sometimes you're talking about success, and it is a riddle, it is a puzzle, because we all, as CA students, I'm sure, whoever is writing exams, we're all always very confused and always very unsure as to how things are going to pan out for you. So I wrote all these feelings, in through this poetry, and I'm really hoping that education gets many such write-ups, many such poems where students can express what they want. To answer your question very specifically, in this through this poem, I kind of tried to express my resilience, that despite all the problems, despite all the challenges, I would want to overcome and I would want to succeed and become a CA. So that's what I expressed. But I'm hoping that you get many such write-ups, many such articles or poems or whatever, so that you can really. I'm really excited to read this anthology whenever it's published.
Thank you so much, sir. And on that note, I would really want to ask that is there any your dream project that you want to work upon? And if there is something, what's stopping you to work on that?
No, I'll tell you honestly, the kind of life, and I'm talking about my professional life, the kind of professional life that I've lived so far, whatever has happened is something I had never even dreamt of. Like I had never imagined myself, walking in a boardroom and addressing an audit committee or sitting and discussing things out with the board of directors of a company. I had never imagined all of this. I had never even dreamt of, all of these things, but they happened. So in real life, when things go so so favorable, I always choose to be more real. But hypothetically, if I have to choose a dream project, I would say I would love to author or co-author a book on audit, where I would kind of bring out the practical insights and practical implications of the concepts of audit, so that students or professionals, for that matter, they find auditing more interesting and easier.
Amazing, sir. Your insights were very good, and we all learned a lot from you today. Sir, now we have a quick rapid fire round which we have introduced recently. So we would like to play with that with you.
Is there a hamper?
Okay, sir. So first question is statutory audit or internal audit? What's your pick?
Statutory audit, always.
Morning audits or late night reviews?
Morning audits.
If audit was a movie genre, which would it be?
It would be thriller.
One CA habit that definitely runs in your family.
I think hard work. We all like to work really hard, and without hard work, you can never be a CA, is what I feel, I believe.
Legacy or individuality? What motivates you more?
Retaining legacy, keeping your individuality intact. So basically both.
Your go-to comfort activity.
Comfort activity. So if I want to go higher in my energy, I'll go for my dance sessions. If I want to lower it down, then I go for my meditations. So I have, yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Any superpower. I would like to look at the future.
And so final question, friend circle or the winner circle?
So winner circle is already included in my friend circle now. So I choose friend circle.
Very clever
Thank you
choice
so
of
much.
answer, sir.
Thank you.
And with that, we open our floor for our audience to ask questions to you.
Sure, sure. Bring it on.
The Sarthak has asked, how do you manage such an amazing work-life balance while still keeping up with all your hobbies? Seriously, it's inspiring.
So I tell this to my students, I tell this to people who interact with me that I work for my stomach and I dance for my heart. And I cannot just I cannot be biased with just one thing. I have to take care of both my organs, else I'll die.
Next question is from Dehra. So, what are your views on AI in auditing and how can AI add value to audit?
Yeah, AI is an excellent tool, I think, which humankind has developed. But I very firmly believe that it is not a replacement of any humans. To give you a very simple analogy, like we take an X-ray, like a doctor takes an X-ray. X-ray will only indicate you certain things, but the treatment will be given by a doctor. In the same way, AI assists you in performing your work more efficiently, more speedily. But then it should not be relied for any sorts of professional opinions. That's what I personally feel. And now with the upcoming DPDP Act and all those issues around data privacy, I think it needs to be used very carefully. Is what I feel.
Okay, one question is from another person. So, what are your thoughts on rising cases of professional misconduct among professionals?
Cases of rising, I think it's very sad. It saddens me as a professional that, instead of working hard and instead of working honestly, people choose to go the other way. Of course, if it is a negligence or it's a mistake, it's understandable. But if it is deliberation, then I feel really bad for for the fraternity, because for the name, for few, because of few, then the entire fraternity gets tarnished, which I don't appreciate.
So, one question that I want to ask is that do you still think becoming a CA, like if it's a student qualified their 12th examination and still want to pursue chartered accountancy, do you still think that investing your 4 to 5 years of your journey of your life towards this course it's still relevant in this scenario, or is there any better options available for them?
Me, I think options though, I mean, I've seen CAs who are rankers and who have done nothing in life, and then I've seen people who have not even cleared CAs and they've become very, very successful. So success and failures are, yeah, I mean, CA can give you that key to achieve success, but it is not the only assurance, because you have to also work hard, you also have to exhibit, you also have to apply what you have learned in a constructive way to become a good professional eventually. If you ask me, I think investing your hours, investing your time in a very prestigious course like CA, it definitely gives you very good results. Only thing is, you need to be ready for a lot of hard work. I always tell this to my students that CA exams are like marathon. You have to know how to run for 42 kilometers. You cannot run a sprint and say that, oh, I can be a marathoner, I can run so fast. Speed doesn't matter here. It's your endurance, it's your stamina that will matter more.
Next question is from Stakshi, and she has asked, how to stay productive as you are into many streams and verticals?
I practice this even as a student. Like generally, I ask people what they do is they'll study only one or two subjects in a day. But in my times when I used to study, I used to ensure that I study at least four subjects in a day. So I would divide my day in such a way that I'm paying attention to four subjects. And when I'm studying one particular subject, my focus is only on that. So once I'm done with that 4 or 3 hours window with one subject, I will never even think about it, till the next day comes. And I think that is something I apply even now in my professional life. Like when I'm at my work, I focus entirely on my work. When I'm in my meditations, I'll ensure that my focus is there. When I'm in my classes or if I'm in BCAS, my entire focus is there, undisturbed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep
Thank
yours
you
out.
so much, sir. Your insights were amazing. We all learned a lot from your story. And the questions that were asked in chat and the questions that were asked to you as well, your answers were very, very, very inspiring to us all and were very informative as well. So, with this, I would like to hand over to Gunjan to ensure the closing remarks.
क्या बात है यार, क्या बढ़िया सेशन था, मुझे तो बहुत मजा आया. At the rapid fire just added that cherry on top. So what we got to know today was, although auditing is seen as a very demanding and high pressure field, it is possible to make a career in it without sacrificing any of your other interests. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful and insightful session and for the great poem. Today's session was not just informative, it was truly enriching, full of clarity, and filled with practical experiences. I believe it would have cleared most of the viewers' doubts related to audit as a career. Thank you, sir, for being so patient with the questions. And thank you to the Winner Circle team for conducting this session and this series. You guys are helping a lot of students gain perspective. They are about to release their anthology, as mentioned, education. So do keep an eye out for it on their socials. Sir, you would be provided with a token of gratitude once it is released for being TWC's ambassador. Kudos to our host for such a wonderful session. And for those of you who sat through the whole session, you have been an amazing audience. Hope you all learned a lot today. सर, आपकी इजाजत हो तो जाने से पहले 2 पंक्तियां अर्ज करना चाहूंगी.
जरूर.
इरशाद कर दीजिएगा.
इरशाद इरशाद जरूर.
हिसाबों में जो ईमानदारी का रंग भर दे, हिसाबों में जो ईमानदारी का रंग भर दे, जिंदगी के सबर को भी आसान कर दे. हिसाबों में जो ईमानदारी का रंग भर दे, जिंदगी के सबर को भी आसान कर दे. ऋषिकेश सर जैसा गुरु मिल जाए तो सफर को ही बदल के रख दे.
क्या बात है. Thank you so much. I think
Thank you, sir.
and I also want to put on record thank you to Dev and Sanskriti for conducting the session really well, and all the other volunteers, all the other members of the Winners Circle, and thanks to you also Gunjan for conducting the session really well. So kudos to all of you. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.